there was a part of being like, oh, like, are people gonna think it's weird that we're not playing a hardcore show? But I don't know, like, who gives a fuck? Like, it's
Hello, and welcome to the Build Your Own Band podcast, the podcast made for independent artists who want to grow their band in an organic, self-determined, and purposeful manner. My name is Vince Solaveri, and welcome to episode 7 of the Build Your Own Band podcast. Before we dive into today's episode, I just want to thank everybody for listening to episode 6 with Steph Montani. I love that episode, and I feel like Steph shared some invaluable wisdom in regards to marketing and aesthetics and just promoting your band. If you haven't listened to that episode already, please do. There's a ton to learn from that episode, and there's a ton to learn from Steph. Today's episode kind of focuses on the other side of the coin. If you're in an independent band and you're trying to grow in a way that maybe online marketing and social media doesn't feel right for you, that's totally cool, because today's guest is a perfect example of how to grow your band in person. Today's guest is Jake Thompson from the band Mile End. Mile End is an incredibly talented hardcore band from Brampton, Ontario. They're signed to the label New Morality Zine. Mile End has toured extensively all over Canada, the US, and even Europe. Mile End has been at it for 5 or 6 years, and they've made a ton of progress as a band in that time, especially considering they were basically teenagers when they started the band. Mile End is a perfect example of a band that is driven by the passion of playing music. The band's rise is totally organic, just based on them writing kick-ass music and playing a ton of shows in as many places as humanly possible. Although Mile End is signed to the label New Morality Zine, a lot of how the band functions is purely DIY. And a lot of the opportunities that the band has been offered just comes from them being super solid dudes, being a great band to share the stage with, and just being a good vibe all around. Interviewing Jake was such a pleasure because he made me laugh so much. He is just such an incredibly funny and charismatic person. He couldn't be a better front person for a hardcore band. Before we dive into the episode, I just want to talk about my demo template that's available for free on my website, vincesolaveri.com/template. It is a pre-mixed songwriting template available for Pro Tools, Logic, Ableton, Reaper, and GarageBand. It's a session file that you can download, open up in the DAW of your choice, and just plug in a microphone, plug in your guitar, and start recording a song. I've taken care of all the mixing, so by the time you're done demoing your song, you have a nearly professional sounding recording by the end of the process. Not only is this tool great to flesh out your ideas in the songwriting process, but it also can save you thousands of dollars and days in the studio, because with this template, you can spend your time writing, arranging, and basically producing the song yourself. So when you step into the studio, everything is already laid out, and you don't have to think about what key is this song in, what's the tempo, is there a lead guitar part here? You already know that stuff up front. So when it's time to pay good money for a professional recording, you can just get straight to work. I encourage you to try out the demo template if you have some home recording experience. For a lot of bands that I've worked with, this tool has become revolutionary to their workflow. So you can download it at vincesolaveri.com/template. I'm super stoked to share this episode with you. I hope you enjoy it. And without further ado, here's episode 7 with Jake Thompson of Mile End. Jake Thompson from Mile End here today.
what's up?
We're at Boxcar Sound Recording in Hamilton, Ontario. Once again, different location, we're in the control room today. But thank you, Jake, for stopping by.
Thank you for having me. I'm stoked.
I'm stoked for a couple of reasons. One, I love Mile End. And two, I really appreciate that you were like, the first thing you said to me after we saw each other, after I launched the podcast, was like high compliments about the podcast.
Sick.
So it's nice to have someone who's stoked about the show on the show. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're epic. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, this is cool. I sent it to Gons, and Gons was also stoked.
Hell yeah, I love Gons. Shout out all the bands that Gons is in.
Yeah, Gons,
Terry Green.
Who
else?
Body's Nest.
Yeah, incredible.
Everyone's filling too. So,
I feel like Gons can kind of do anything.
Yeah, Gons is
great. Gons plays in Influx.
Yes, Influx, can't forget.
Although Influx is always in flux of whether they're a band or not.
Yep, that's true. I think they have another band starting soon.
Let's pray. Any band that crew of folks is starting is usually just like rock. Mint.
Yeah. I gotta say, this is my first video podcast. I'm worried if I scratch my balls, if it's gonna be
We are
captured on
shooting
the
in
internet.
4K. I will crop out the crotch
Okay.
section if I
So
absolutely need
sick. Yeah. So if you see a crop,
to.
it's, just know
He's itchy.
I'm itching.
And for the audio listeners, you're just gonna have to guess.
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
Jake
Just
is
guess.
digging
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Comment down below how many times you think I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the over or unders 6.
Yeah.
So
6.
We're gonna take bets on that.
All right. All right.
Your
We'll see.
betting platform.
Yeah.
of choice.
Bet now. Send me $5.
Yeah, Bet365 sponsors this show.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I don't want that to be a liability.
Yeah.
That's a problem. But yeah, Jake, I'm super stoked you're here. I'm super stoked that you're in the studio. I love bringing new people here. But yeah, I feel like Mile End is like a exemplary band of how I view a band to function in the modern world, especially within heavy music and hardcore. And not to talk about myself for too much, but I kind of just want to go through my experience with the band up front from like when I first saw you guys.
Mhm.
So my first Mile End experience, aside from like hearing buzz about the band online and stuff like that, I was at Hold Your Ground 2022.
Okay. Yeah.
And I had tickets for both days, but I could only go to the Sunday. And I'm pretty sure you guys opened that show, correct?
Yes, we did.
So I walked in not knowing what like the lineup of the day was. And I walked in, I'm like, I think this is Mile End, but I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
And your first song was the infamous FCHC.
Yeah.
And a room like that was huge. And like no matter how many people were in it, it was just like a gigantic horseshoe.
Mm-hmm.
People were going off immediately for that song. And then I was like, oh yeah, this is Mile End. Okay, they're sick. And then I watched the set. I'm like, cool. Band's awesome. Room sounds like shit. That's not their fault. Just like doing my kind of like critique of seeing a band for the first time. And then as the closer, you ran it back to FCHC. And then everybody that was like pitting for it the first time did it again, plus new people who now knew the song after hearing it. And I was just like, these guys are fucking geniuses. I'm like, that is the hardest, most badass thing you could possibly do. Like knowing that you have this like incredible song on your hands that people love and just being like, you want to hear it again.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was a funny kind of day. I kind of look back at that day and that set. Let me like step back a little bit. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Cause like Mile End is like every member in it. It's our first and only band that we've ever really been in. We have like now second bands and whatnot.
Right.
But I feel like we went through like weird, cringy kind of like teenager eras, or like our cringy young kid band is the band we're still in. But I look at that like for that Hold Your Ground set as kind of like a jump off point for like when we really kind of figured stuff out, and the FCHC track was kind of the centerpiece of a lot of that. And that set really did a lot for us, and having, I think, people take us a little more seriously and not just like, oh, these are a bunch of stupid ass kids making weirdo music.
Well, that was always kind of the thing that I feel like was kind of like the talk about the band of just like, oh, Mile End's super awesome and they're super young, was kind of like the thing that I feel like a lot of people, it's hard to believe a band can be, like that good and figured out so early. Usually when you're like 19 or 20, I don't even know how old you guys were at that point.
At that time, I think like Brandon might have still been 19.
Yeah.
And then like me and Alex 21, Patrick might have been 20. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, anywhere from that range.
Yeah. So it's just like generally impressive to see a good band, and generally impressive to see a band that like has like their shit more or less figured out up front. So it's impressive to hear that it was your first band, more or less. And it reminds me of what Kurt Ballou says about Converge, as being like, we're all in the same band that we started in high school, and to see where they've gone is like, you're in good company. But tell me about the inception of the band, and just like, how did you find each other, and how did you decide that you wanted to play music, and how you wanted to play hardcore music specifically?
Yeah. Okay. So I'd say Patrick Patrick plays drums in Milan. He kind of started the band. I was the last member to join. So Patrick knew Brandon. Brandon plays bass. Alex plays guitar. Just to
Yeah.
for people
Paint the picture.
to put faces to these names. But yeah, Patrick wanted to start a band. He knew Alex from childhood pretty much, and I think Alex kind of started playing guitar more or less out of spite because he was like, "Oh, if Patrick can do it, I can do it." So he got with Alex and guitar, and he knew Brandon through high school. And just got them together, and they found me through a guy I worked with at Canadian Tire that was like, "Oh, you like Alexis on Fire? I know these kids or these guys that want to start a band that sounds like Alexis on Fire." And,
Shout out to Canadian Tire for making Milan.
yeah, for real. Canadian Tire, Trinity Commons.
Wow.
Crazy shit.
Unreal.
Yeah. That place is, I discovered hardcore, a lot of hardcore through that place too.
Wow. Just like working in that store specifically.
Yeah, I worked with this guy. His name is G Money or XG Money X.
Shout out.
Yeah, just like Brampton straight edge old head, and gave me like a flash drive of like hardcore.
Wow.
It had like Snapcase and like, yeah, he's anti like streaming. He only like listens to see. Anyways, yeah, shout out G Money. But yeah, no. So I just like, I don't know, follow them on Instagram and shit, chat with them. And up until that point, like I had always just jammed with my friends. My homie Aiden had a drum kit, but like no one really wanted to start a band. And then when I met the Milan guys, they didn't just want to like cover like first record songs off Alexis.
Right.
Patrick was like, we have 3 songs we wrote. And that was kind of new to me. I was like, oh shit, what the fuck? I was like, cool. So I really latched onto that, and yeah, we just really kicked it off. And those are my best friends in the world. And we discovered hardcore more or less together or at the same time, and kind of realized we're like, oh, like hardcore is a thing. I don't know. For myself, at least, I was always trying to find music that was like, I need to find something that sounds like Alexis on Fire, and anything that was like screaming. I was like, this is it. I didn't really know what genres or the specific genres of music was until like I think I found hardcore locally. And
so Alexis on Fire was sort of your touchstone for heavy music at that point, and then you meet the guys.
Yeah.
And then did you collectively just like unearth what hardcore was and what heavy music was, or just like, hey, I heard about, obviously you had a flash drive to work off of. So that's like bonus points to G Money to give you that flash drive. But for the rest of the band, were you all kind of discovering different things and bringing it back to the table? And
it was discovering a lot of different things. Like I remember Brandon finding Knock Loose and showing us, finding Vane and showing us. I remember finding Turnstile, Incendiary, Earth Crisis, and showing that to them.
Yeah.
And and I don't know, and there was like a lot of other kind of adjacent similar world stuff. Like we all really love Single Mothers too. And I don't know, anything that was like a little kind of screaming, we were all gravitate towards.
Right.
Like a lot of screamo as well. Like I remember showing them like Joshua Fit for Battle and Neil Perry and stuff, and it was just a lot of that. We were just like, I don't know, we were sharing a lot of screaming music together, and but hardcore was kind of the one that stuck out the most, and we're like, oh, this has the most energy, because then we found like Hate 5-6, and we're like, our brains were just exploding, and we're like, yeah, we need to do this.
Well, hardcore is a very specific, subgenre of heavy guitar music. Like what heavy guitar music can be a million and one things. Like it could be anything from Hatebreed to Metallica to Nickelback to like distorted aggressive guitar music is this really wide umbrella, and hardcore falls in the middle of everything. I feel like it has this influence of metal, it has this influence of punk, and the mentality around hardcore is very specific. And I think the punk influence in hardcore is what makes hardcore so special. And the community surrounding hardcore, I feel like, is very vibrant and unique to hardcore versus other sorts of heavy genres. So I wonder, from your perspective and from the band's perspective, discovering hardcore, realizing that you like it and that you want to play it. When you started going to hardcore shows and playing with hardcore bands, did the communal aspect of hardcore have an effect on you versus other forms of music that maybe you've absorbed up to that point?
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of weird when we first, like, pre-COVID shows, like, I don't know. Honestly, a lot of pre-COVID stuff that shit doesn't exist.
We write that off.
Like, life started in 2020. Yeah, so, like, because, like, pre-COVID, a lot of stuff we did was just, like, shows with our, like, homies from high school and whatnot, a lot of DIY kind of stuff, and we didn't really, I don't think there might have been much influence from what they were playing or whatever, but we definitely did take notice when we started getting booked on hardcore bills, and we're like, oh, these people are dancing different. They're dancing the way we see on, like, these videos. And then we're just like, oh, how do we write the shit to make them move that way?
The reverse engineering of hardcore from the standpoint of just being like, what riffs are going to make people hurt each other?
So I guess, like, kind of that was something. And just seeing, because when, I don't know, right out of COVID, everyone that we played shows with were always like 10 years older than us, for the most part. And so I think just seeing, like, proper, well-seasoned, like, musicians do the thing and do it well, really made us reflect with, oh, we got to hang with these people.
Right.
How do we do it? And how, you know?
Of the local crop of hardcore bands that you were seeing and interacting with, were there any experiences or bands or particular shows that stick out in your mind of just like, oh, that was a pivotal one that put me on the track of where I am now?
Honestly, the first hardcore show back from COVID, the Under the Bridge, Friction, Milspec, and The Fact.
What a lineup.
Yeah, it was pretty influential for not just myself, like a lot of my friends. That was just I don't know, we spent all the lockdown just looking at, you know, whatever hardcore videos we could find, and then when we finally were able to see the thing before in like to see the thing that we saw online in real life, it was quite, I don't know, it blew our minds.
Yeah,
because we had gone to a few hardcore shows pre-COVID, but they were like weird, they were like smaller Brampton ones, and that shit kind of sucked. Like, no one was dancing, nothing like that. So yeah, I think of that show, and that really, I remember, like, just being there and being like, holy fuck, like, we got to do this.
Yeah.
I remember talking to, like, Noah from Friction after, and he was like, we'll get Mile End on the next one. And I remember I was like, what? Like, yo, damn, this hardcore shit's crazy. But yeah, no, yeah, that's definitely, yeah, just seeing that stuff after being so locked up, I think was, I don't know, pretty influential for what we wanted.
The pandemic sucks. You can't get around the fact that sucked, and the effect that it has on the world is genuinely terrible.
Ass.
But to think that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, which a lot of people had this outlet in heavy music that kind of like made it boom, is incredible. And it was happening on a global front, but it was definitely happening locally, definitely happening within Ontario. And a city that a lot of people were talking about when this was happening was Brampton. And full disclosure, I did not have a very great experience playing shows in Brampton when I was playing shows in Brampton. And then suddenly this big boom happened. And from a Bramptonite sitting right next to me, I want to hear from your perspective how and why Brampton hardcore happened and how it led us to where we are today.
Yeah, I'll go into it more, but as like a quick why I think a lot of bands come out of Brampton is that there's nothing to do there. There's fuck all to do there. You can, like, I feel like there's like a few trajectories as a young person you can go. It's like either get really into cars and just like do like crazy like street takeovers and just do donuts until like the cops pull up, drugs, or start a band. That's the only three suitable options as a pastime in Brampton, I think. So
I'm guessing cars and drugs didn't work out then.
yeah, no, I'm still straight edge, so we're rocking with
Monk's
the
family.
music. Yeah, but no, yeah, I guess like around the start with Mile End, we wanted to play shows, but we didn't know anyone locally, like band wise. So we just got with our homies and played shows with them, and those homies were Do Flame and Dear God, and all the members in Scab. They were a different band at the time. And we would just rent out like DIY spaces, rental halls, Vetus's basement, Vetus's garage, and just do shows there and get our other homies on it. And we all kind of went to different high schools. Like I think between all the bands, there was like 4 or 5 different ones. So when a show would happen, we were just like promoted at our schools, being like, "Oh, there's like a party happening with live music." And I don't think any of us were really like seen as like the cool kids. So like people weren't lining up to go to the shows, but like anyone that was a little bit alternative was like, "Oh, this sounds cool." And we would be doing these DIY shows with like 100 kids at them, and when we were still in high school, and then the pandemic hit and that kind of halted it. But yeah, I feel like that's more or less kind of how a lot of the roots started, and a lot of those people that were going to shows back then still go to shows today, and some of them, have bands now. Like Rios was one of them, and they now play in Blood Wraith, and so I feel like it's kind of snowballed into that, and then younger bands started popping up, like Dear Evangeline discovered us, or like I think more or less Dear God, and they were quite enamored with it, and reached out to us and everyone and started, and then same thing with Dombe, and then I don't know, it's just kind of snowballed, and I don't know what it is. A lot of motherfuckers are from Brampton. It's got like 800,000 people, so there's nothing to do there. There's no venues. Well, there's one, but it sucks. Yeah, no, they don't do all ages shows. Anyways, but yeah, no, I don't know how Brampton popped. I think it was just us and our friends just doing band stuff, and
I think
people gravitated towards that, I guess.
Yeah, I think what you're describing is the magic, and this is once again sort of another theory that I've had that seems to be proven time and time again, of like when you're from a city that, as you're describing, has nothing going on.
Yeah.
And you're a young person just trying to like make life happen and get your energy out somehow. If getting to, and if we're talking about Southern Ontario geography specifically, like if you're trying to get to Toronto to go see your favorite band and the transit there sucks and you don't have a car and you're stuck in your city and it's hard to, you're like, oh fuck, Converge is playing an hour from me, but I have no way to get there, but I really want this.
that is another reason why Brampton shows do well. Like I think it's a little different now. The train lines are better, but I remember when I was in high school and if I wanted to go to a show, it's like the last train back home was like 9:00.
Yeah.
So it's like I could take a bus, but I was also, I don't know, I was a stupid kid. I didn't know how to, I barely even know now how to navigate the streetcar or subway. So it's like me back then, like I didn't get to go to many shows because it was, I don't know, if a kid from an hour out of Toronto, it felt quite daunting to go down to the city. And I do get that feedback a lot now when me and Kevin book shows that these kids are really stoked that they can go to a show that's 10 minutes from their house rather than, sometimes an hour and a half, 2-hour transit commute.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely has to be a factor why.
And I wonder from your perspective of like, you're booking these alternative venues that aren't bars because there aren't anywhere to play. Like that is like a tale as old as time in regards to like the punk and hardcore world. For you, was it like out of necessity, or did you learn from the old head at Canadian Tire just being like, you don't have to play a bar. You can actually just rent out a room in a YMCA.
Well, like the first, like, I don't know, I would have been like 16 or 17 at the time. But like the first kind of DIY spaces that we booked were community halls. And I knew of it because I had my second birthday there.
Wow.
So I was like, I know there's rooms that like can be rented in like through the city website. So we did that at the time. They were pretty cheap. But I also remember through like, I don't know, watching just like YouTube videos online, I would see bands like Joshua Fit for Battle playing in like a boxing ring or playing in like weird dingy church basements. And I also got a big one. My uncle, he's I think like 37 or something. So he grew up seeing like Alexis on Fire,
Right.
moaning in church basements, and would tell me stories of that. So I knew there was places like that.
Right.
So I remember after a year or two of us like kind of doing these shows, Mateo like told us about like a church, and me and Patrick called up, and it was like $150 to rent their basement, and we're like, okay,
We could do that.
yeah, we did. So we just did it, and like I remember I remember that pretty vividly actually. Patrick just like called me up and was like, I want to play a show. I was like, okay, let's figure it out, and like we called a church, and we're like, are you free this weekend? And like we just booked it like that, and we just had it was probably just like Mile End, Do Flame, Scab, and that's probably it. And we're just like, all right, fuck it, whatever.
Let's
Post
go.
on Instagram.
Yeah.
And like that was the kind of stuff we would do. But yeah, I guess like through my uncle, through knowing where I had my second grade birthday. And, yeah, videos online, I knew there were alternative places to go.
Right.
And
when you guys were where were you jamming first off?
we jammed in Patrick's parents' basement. And
First off,
we still do.
Shout out to any parent out there that lets their kid jam in the basement. I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for my parents, giving up their basement to me and my brother
shout
to
out
play
to
music.
all the parents.
They
quite incredible.
Those are the unsung heroes of the scene, are the parents behind this.
Oh, incredible. My mom dropping me off every weekend in like 11th grade, 12th grade for Mile End practice.
Yeah, it's shout out to every parent.
Shout out mom.
But yeah, so jamming in the basement, writing your first songs. How did you get to the point? I just want to expedite back to something that we were talking about before, just like from writing your first songs to writing FCHC. What was the journey there? Because if we're talking about FCHC and Hold Your Ground 2022 and that kind of being like the first jump off point, I'm very curious how the band led itself to that point.
When we were in high school, we would get together every weekend and we would just kind of like come up with ideas or whatnot. Like one week, Patrick would be like, "Oh, check out this Single Mother song. Let's like try to do something like that." And then another one, it's like Brandon's like, "Oh, check out this Knock Loose song. Let's try to do something like that." Or then it's like Alexis on Fire song, and then it's like a Turnstile song or whatever the fuck we were trying to, sound like or gravitate towards, and we would just kind of collaboratively work together. I gotta bring up Davis Maxwell for a second.
Shout out Davis Maxwell. Friend of the show.
Yeah, so everything I was saying before, fucking ignore what I was saying. Davis Maxwell taught us how to write music and like in a concise and or a structured kind of way.
Yeah. We secret fifth member.
Yeah, no, for real. He really is. I don't know, we were as like fucking crazy, like my brain is not working as it ever does. I think was kind of how like I don't know. I don't fucking know how Mile End writes. I'll be so real. We just show up and shit happens. But then now we show up, shit happens, and we get it to a skeleton. And then we call up Davis and we're like, "Can you please help us?"
Save us.
And sometimes, sometimes he's not even giving any ideas. He's just there, like he's a referee.
Yeah.
Whether it's like just like being like, "Jake, let Alex have his idea out," or then him being like, "Alex, tone it down," or like, "Patrick, stop doing so many fills."
He is your Bob Rock.
Yeah.
Your Bob Rock to your Metallica.
But no, he does bring a lot of ideas and like kind of helps us think of it in a different way. I feel like all four of us are just fucking like cranked or like just have so many ideas and we're just not, I don't know, maybe some of us, I don't know. Let me just speak for myself. I don't want to speak for the rest of them. Like, I know I'm not very organized, and especially with thoughts, trying to get them out creatively. I have like, I don't know, it's sometimes very hard to articulate where I want like, I don't know, a song or a riff going.
Mhm.
And I'm fortunate that the four of us, we have a good chemistry where sometimes we can just like jam and then figure it out and then try to like piece something together.
Mhm.
But I think it doesn't really fall into place and have structure until we really sit down and either demo an idea or get with Davis and kind of work out a song in the studio and really
Right.
piece things together and see what works and see what doesn't. And then I don't know, another big thing we do, and we didn't do it for a while, but we're bringing it back, is we'll have a song, we'll write it, demo it, sometimes even record it.
On your own?
On our own, sometimes with Davis.
Right.
He blesses us quite a bit sometimes. Yeah, we'll just test it out live and see what hits and doesn't hit.
Right.
And then kind of bring those notes back to record or to writing and
Right.
say like, oh yeah, people got bored at this part.
Yeah.
Let's maybe shorten it or do something different. Or
You're workshopping a song in front of a live audience the same way a comedian workshops jokes.
yeah, more or less. Yeah. And
Which is insanely useful. and
oh,
helpful.
it's incredible. We there's a couple songs we didn't do it for on the record, and I really wish we did.
Right.
Not that I'm ashamed of those songs or anything. It's just I'm curious what would have changed.
Right.
And there's things I see now live. I'm like, oh, we could have.
Yeah.
But it's like whatever. Who gives a shit?
I'm a studio guy.
Mhm.
Obviously, we are in a studio. I work in the studio, so the way I perceive music is through Pro Tools.
Yeah. Okay, sick.
and the sound coming out of the speakers. And I have a lot of experience with bands that come into the studio and they have maybe never made a record before, and they're just trying to figure out how to do it. And I'm there to shepherd them through it and show them the best practices and how they can take that with them. And then we make a record together. It sounds great. They learn a bunch of things. They go play shows with the stuff that they learned in the studio with me.
Mhm.
And they come back for round 2 and they're like an entirely different band.
Yeah.
And I know, not to put you on the spot, I know from Davis,
Yeah.
that's the case for my life.
Oh yeah.
So I want to hear from your perspective on how working with Davis and working in the studio has not only affected your writing, but also affected how you function as a band.
Oh. I adore
It's a rabbit hole that I'm
Yeah.
unearthing that I would love to go down.
No, let's go down this rabbit hole. I adore Davis. Davis is fucking incredible. Yeah, Davis Maxwell. Everyone, please record with him. Sorry, Vince.
That's fine. I'm a content creator now.
Yeah, but no. So around like kind of after, this would have been before Hold Your Ground actually. Like kind of a lot of shows after, like we were trying to find people to record with. Up until that point, we had just recorded with Robert from Dear God. But it was just like super DIY, just a homie with like pretty much a Focusrite, just being like, yeah, I can do your shit. But we wanted to do something for real, and everyone was telling us, go to Davis, go to Davis. I was like, who is this Davis dude? Anyways, I met him at like Kill Room at some show, and sent him our demos and whatnot, and he was really enamored with them and wanted to work with us. And yeah, the first couple of days in the studio, it was an insane kind of learning curve for all of us because I don't know, I don't know, it was just I don't know, I'm trying to find the word. Like professional sounds fucking stupid, but like we learned how to like, I don't know, improve as musicians, I guess, on all fronts. And whether it's just something like taking better care of our instruments or really figuring out like, are we all playing the same parts, or is, you know, when Patrick's doing this on the drum kit, Alex, what are you doing to complement it, or whatever kind of things, just making us really dive into our music and workshop it and figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I find another good thing Davis is great for is being my therapist. And Davis is a great person. I'm sure many producers are as well, for me to like or anyone in a band to really just spew out all your ideas and worries or excitements of the band or what you want to do with a plan, and kind of bounce ideas off them. And I feel like most producers are someone with wisdom and can give you guidance and put you on a better path. And I think Davis really did that for Mile End, individually and as a band. Really, I don't know, really just like, and then like gave us a lot of confidence to go out and tour, or try to get our stuff on a label and put out our music, or whatever we've done. I think a lot of it is through working with him. And
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, that seems like the kind of like perfect experience that a band should have with a producer. Like someone that not only is hitting record and getting good tones and this and that, but actually like cares enough to make sure that the band is well taken care of and make sure that the band is as powerful as possible and everybody is feeling good, and giving, like, everybody should walk away from their recording experience feeling stoked on the thing that they just created and feeling like they learned something new and feeling like they're walking away from it a better band than when they walked in. And in my opinion, that is solely the purpose and role of a producer, is to make sure that the band is satisfied on all ends with the entire process, versus just you step into a studio with a random person and they just set up a bunch of mics, don't talk to you, and hit record.
Fuck that.
Like, you can do that yourself. That's not what you're paying money for. Like, you're paying for the expertise that a producer is bringing into the room to be like, okay, let's make your band the best version of the band possible.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I feel like you guys are super lucky for finding someone that you gel with that well so early on, because for some bands it can take years, sometimes even a decade, to find the producer that's like, okay, they get our band, let's figure it out.
Like it I don't know, it felt like just such a perfect match where, I don't know, we've always kind of struggled with like, what our comparisons are, or what should we pull influence from, or whatever, because we all have just like a wide range of what we like. But when Davis came into it, like as like a third party, he was able to, I don't know, kind of see where we were going, and I don't know, be like an old head and be like, have you heard of this record? Have you heard of, X, Y, or Z, and really put us onto that. And, not only just as like musicians, but like also like refine our taste as like listeners too, and discover music and learn that way.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, Davis just gets us, and I'm very fortunate that we were able to find that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, if you're a band trying to record, find someone you gel with, take them out on a date before you record a record with them. I don't know.
As silly as that sounds, that is massively crucial. Like, it's, for me, like, meeting a band and whether it's just like they come to the studio for a tour or I go to a show and meet them, like, actually getting a vibe for like how you interact with each other as people is like, sometimes the biggest defining factor of whether you're actually gonna have a good experience together or not. Because some people
100%
have different brains, everybody functions on different wavelengths, so when just meeting new people and figuring out who that person is for you is super duper crucial. But, the element of luck that's in it to find that person so early on is like, a blessing.
Yeah. I mean,
the hardcore gods are looking out for you.
Straight up. I mean, like, if you're spending 8 hours a day, and you can't riff together, you ain't riffing on the tracks either. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, the magic in the room happens within the people.
Yeah,
just letting it go through your instruments. But yeah, I mean, not to use a cringy term, but like, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
For Mile End specifically, of just like, hitting the studio with the right person, and that right person in this instance is Davis.
Yeah.
From recording with Davis and making, I mean, I know you've made a number of recordings together, and on those recordings, a few songs pop up more than once. A song like FCHC, I think, has been recorded a few times. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe Avarice as well.
Yeah. All the promo songs were re-recorded for the record.
When you're re-recording a song for a second or sometimes even third time with the same person, do you approach it differently? Do you actively try to approach it differently, or you're just like, let's just do it again, we already have it figured out?
No, we approached this a little differently. So like, we did it because, I don't know, we felt like the promo songs should have been on the record, just because all those record songs more or less were all written around the same time.
Yeah.
So we kind of wanted the record to be a collection, but we felt like if we just threw the files from the promo onto the record, they wouldn't mesh well in a queue.
They would pop out.
Yeah, oh, definitely. So yeah, we just re-recorded it through that, and um, for FCHC, we were just like we're like we wanted to. I don't know, because the first time we recorded it, it was like we came back from a run from like Montreal, and we had that song. We were playing it live, and we just had a bunch of homies being like, "You need to drop that before Hold Your Ground." And we're like, "Fuck, Davis!" Like that's in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
When do you have studio time? And like I remember we came back from Montreal, and we had like a night session, and we just like recorded it pretty much overnight, and then printed it, uploaded it, and then it came out like right before the fest.
Right.
Um,
Which
so
couldn't be better timing. And the fact that
Yeah.
it was planned out is even more incredible. Of just like, we got to make this happen, and let's,
and like while recording it, like Seth Nielsen was at the studio when we were recording it. Like I don't remember if he was working on the artwork while recording it, but definitely in between release and like recording, like he had made the artwork pretty quick and everything too. So massive shout out to Seth as well. But yeah, because that song was like, I don't know, just recorded so quick, we felt like, oh, we want to give it a little more time and attention for the record. And then Avarice more or less, we were like, all right, let's keep that one the same. That shit hit. But then Stay Still, we kind of had a little more like some ideas just to make it like hit a little harder. And but yeah, more or less, we just wanted all those songs to fit with the record.
Going from that first show that I saw at Hold Your Ground to like where you are, I think the most recent time I've seen you was at the Dine Alone store.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like every time I see Mile End, I'm just like, fuck, they're better than the last time. Like Pat played that set with like a gashed up hand. Like,
his tendon was torn.
Yeah,
we found out a few days. Yeah,
and I walked away from that just being like, I think that might have been the best Mile End set I've ever seen. Like, it's insane. And like, so
oh my goodness,
I feel like, you guys really workshopping your songs in the studio and having someone kind of like, refine it and make it as best as possible. You already have the best version of the song leaving the studio, and now you're hitting the stage with the best versions of your song, and now you're just going to play those hundreds of times a year.
Yeah.
And so I want to talk about playing shows and how you're able to play the volume of shows that you play, and how you've gotten to the point of, playing local shows to going on larger tours, and you're going to Europe soon. Like, things are happening for the band. How playing a large volume of shows influences, once again, how the band functions, and how what you learn on the stage affects how the band kind of works.
Oh yes, play as many shows as possible, with a few ideas I gotta bring first. I don't know, you're not gonna get good unless you play live.
Yeah.
If you just play in your basement and you're just hearing a million sounds bounce off the walls, you're gonna think you're fly as hell, and it's not gonna be sick. You gotta go out and play shows, get humbled, crash and burn a million times, and then you get sick. But no, we play. Yeah, I don't know. That was kind of. We did the band stuff because we really want to play live. That was kind of a big thing for all of us, even starting out. I remember Brandon. There was always like a running joke when we first started, being like, yeah, whenever we play our first show, like that was never gonna happen,
right?
But then
it's got like this cloudy thing in the distance. So like, if we get there, we get there.
Yeah, and then it got to a point where like, that's bullshit. Let's just do our own show.
Yeah,
and then I kind of feel like that mentality has snowballed into like every aspect that we do. It's like, oh, for whenever we want to tour, it's like, oh, that's bullshit. Let's just go on tour. Like anything in this music thing you can figure it out pretty easy, and it's like can be figured out through fucking Instagram. DMs. Like so. Yeah, play shows you want to play. Sometimes play shows you don't want to play. Play different cities, different venues, different crowds. I think you can learn anything from almost any show. Yeah. Even the worst of the worst, you're gonna walk away with something positive from it. And I don't know, we've played too many shows, and I feel like I remember every single one of them very well. And I don't know, I there's something I've learned or taken away from each. And but even if it's not like a physical thing or something, it's like the chemistry we've built together as a band through playing almost every environment.
Yeah.
I think helps us. Yeah, I don't know.
Absolutely. And like a lot of especially punk and hardcore bands like don't want to step out of their comfort zone because they might be worried about how they're perceived or if it's cool or if it's the right move or this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Mile End actively does the opposite and tries to, like, you've had the opportunity to play with bands like Single Mothers and the Dirty No. Like you're for a lot of people in those crowds.
Yeah.
Mile End is the first time they hear hardcore.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like, how monumental is it to know that you're in a band that is playing the best style of music to someone for the first time?
Yeah, that shit's funny as fuck. It's really cool. I don't know. Every time we've gotten those offers, especially when we got the Single Mothers one, because I was like, for us, like we would cover them in high school,
Right.
So it's like when we got that, we were like, whoa. That was kind of cool for us. The Dirty No one, that one felt like very, very left field. I remember just like Brandon texted me, check the emails, and like I opened it and I was like, nah, that ain't real. Like that, it was very bizarre to see. But we were excited to take it because we were like, oh, this is new, this is different. It's a massive crowd of people all that have never heard of us. And there was a part of being like, oh, like, are people gonna think it's weird that we're not playing a hardcore show? But I don't know, like, who gives a fuck? Like, it's all like guitar music, it's all loud. The dudes in the Dirty No like power trip. Like, what's the fucking problem?
Yeah.
I don't know. So, and in playing those shows, especially the Dirty No one, it was so rewarding, and it was like, if we didn't hear anyone talk shit or say any dumb shit, but like we were like thinking, oh, maybe people will, but like no, fucking didn't hear anything, and also wouldn't have fucking mattered because the amount of fun we had and the reaction people had towards us was quite charming and cool. Like and a lot of shows since then, a hardcore show specifically, will get a lot younger kids coming up to us being like, oh, this is my first hardcore show, I found you guys through the Dirty No.
Incredible.
And I see them at hardcore shows quite frequently now, so it's cool to see that, like, because we played some of those shows that we put on these kids to the entire scene and a million other bands, and hopefully they love all of it. It's cool. And it's a little scary playing in front of different crowds, because I'm like, the Dirty No show especially, I had to like gauge like, oh, clapping means they like us. Okay, I don't need to have like the craziest stage dives or something to know that they like us. A lot of the positive feedback comes, through different means, and learning to read the crowd that way and work them in different ways is a fun challenge or thing to experience.
Yeah. And I think that's the beauty of stepping out of your comfort zone, because like, even if you're not playing big shows, but you're playing different shows, like you're always going to find yourself in a scenario in which the conditions aren't super optimal. And you're just like, well, I'm on a stage in front of people that don't seem like they're super into my band.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how am I going to react to that? And kind of like practice the feeling of being uncomfortable on stage and not letting it shake you.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what that feels like until you're in that scenario. So sometimes you actively have to put yourself in that scenario to be like, okay, let's stress test the band and let's do something that feels a little bit weird and just see how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. And it fucking rocks every time. It's cool. A little thing on the Dirty No one. I remember being on the Hamilton one. It was a big ass crowd. I just kept staring at this one old lady that was fucking pissed. I don't even think she like was there for the Dirty No. I think she was there because like her husband was like, I love the Dirty No.
Right.
She was in like we fucking ruined her day. She was like, I could get down with the nil, but these kids, she was not having it. But yeah. Shout out.
That I'm sure the snapshot of that lady will probably be forever etched into your mind.
Yeah, it didn't trip me out. I thought it was funny more
Yeah.
than anything. I was like, because I'd look to the left or the right and be like, okay, they look like they're smiling,
Yeah.
you know, and so, but
Well, I
yeah.
mean, the beauty of Mile End and all the work that you've done up to this point is like, you know, when you step on stage, like you're exactly the representation of who you are. Like, you know, at least from the dozens of times that I've seen Mile End, there is no off night. There's no like, oh, that one sucked, at least from my perspective. So like when you're bringing it 100% and like killing it on stage with every show, like at least people are going to walk away from that show. Even if they didn't like it, they're like, well, they're still really good. Like they're still objectively a really great band on stage. Might not be my cup of tea, but you know, you actively walk into a show with the intention of I'm going to wipe the floor with this audience.
I mean, you got to, despite the size of the crowd, because it's you don't know whose first time it is seeing you. So you know, I want to be. I'm terrified of being perceived. I'm terrified of being on this podcast right now and having all my opinions out. But
me too, buddy. Me too.
But yeah, I don't know. It's like you don't know who's seeing you for the first time, so you just want to present the best version of you.
Yeah.
And if they rock with it, they rock with it. If they don't, well, who gives a fuck? You know.
Yeah. You just gotta the hours of repetition putting into a band ultimately goes towards the end goal of just being a better version of yourself.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I want to bring up the it's a terrible segue into this because I'm going
segue
super way off course and into it. Mile End is part of the new Morality Zine family.
New Morality. I literally had a conversation with Nick like 2-3 days ago. No, we're keeping it in. Nick, it's happening. Nah, he gets it all the time. He's chill.
New Morality Zine, NMZ. You're part of the NMZ family. Tell me about how you got affiliated with them and the journey to, you know, signing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, honestly, okay. Sorry, I'm trying to get all my thoughts all together here.
The reason I bring it up because I do feel like when we're talking about like chapters of the band.
Oh yeah, that's a big chapter.
Feels like a big things are changing.
So this would have been a few months after that Hold Your Ground set. I'm using that as just a baseline for everything. So pretty much January whatever day 2023 was Cohesion's record release. It was Mile End, SOV, Cohesion, and Broken Vow and Excide on tour, who were both on New Morality Zine. And yeah, straight up, that's the best like local show I think I've ever played. All the sets, start to finish, fucking insane at Toronto style. I've never seen that place that packed. I've just never seen every set just one after another get better and better. And that night, that would have been our second time playing with Broken Vow. And we had already been acquainted with them, but became really good friends with them there. And we also really hit it off with Excide. And the biggest thing that got the connection was we covered Refuse, Pump the Brakes. And Excide was like, "Oh, we cut our Refuse cover tonight. They on that tour they had covered Rather Be Dead." And we just hit it off, like all the same influences, everything. We're like, "Oh my god!" Like we fell in love with Excide that night, and we had all the songs recorded with Davis because I had just like stockpiled a bunch of songs, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna send these out to people, see who wants to put it out." And NMZ was one of my like top choices. It just felt like a natural direction for Mile End. We just felt like we fit on it. Every time an NMZ band would play locally at Mile End was always on the bill, whether it was like Spy House or Spaced, or even Broken Vow Side. We were always just like lumped together. So after we had all the songs, like kind of even going into it, I kind of had the like mentality. I was like, let me prepare everything for a release in case like no one wants to put it out, so
Right.
we can just release it and then we'll be fine. So I'd like planned. I had all the music, which was the promo, and then a few extra demos of some of the record songs. I had all the artwork. I had like a bunch of promo shots. We had like some like video stuff we had like shot, and I had got Mylon to apply for our visas and booked like pretty much across Canada and like a Midwest US tour. And I was like, surely like NMZ's got a bite on this. And I sent like a email, I think, and I heard nothing. I was like, oh fuck.
There goes my dreams.
I was like, all right, that sucks, whatever. So then we released Avarice, and that got like a good reaction. And then I was like, let me try one more time. But then this time I was like, I hit up Tyler from Excite and I was like, yo, how do I get NMZ to check this out? And he was like, let me just send it to him. And that's how it happened.
Wow.
And then, yeah, Nick followed us. And I remember I was in like a third year post-production class. And I told my prof, I was like, oh, I got like a really important call. I need to leave. And like I was just sitting out on the bench and I called Nick from NMZ. And he was just like, tell me about the band and like what you guys want to do and like whatnot. And yeah, and he saw the vision and he was down with it. He really liked the songs, and yeah, we've been working with him since. And I love working with Nick. Nick's very similar to Davis, kind of through like the means of guidance or like support, very similar, and works really hard for his bands. And yeah, it's been really sick working with him. And, yeah, it's a one-man show. A lot of people are like,
that's wild.
How many people work? Oh, it's a DIY hardcore label. Like it's one motherfucker thugging it out.
So with NMZ and Nick kind of on your side at that point, how does the band change from local hardcore band to, now we have some support?
Yeah, from there, it was like, because NMZ is based out of Chicago. So we were like, oh, we're starting to get attention from the States. Like we have distribution at the time on our tapes and now on our vinyls throughout the States. And even throughout, like, he was able to get us like on a booking agency for the UK and Europe. So it was like, oh, whoa, we felt like we were really put on a much larger platform and stage. And we're like, oh, this is now the time to go crazy. And with that, we're like, let's just tour as much as possible. And I feel like that touring was just such a snowballing effect. Like every single night you're making friends, you're meeting people and bands that fuck with your band and then want to do stuff with your band. And I feel like that really snowballed into so many things. And it's cool working on a label because it's like a lot of the label bands want to work together. So we became really good friends with CDS Quiere from Chicago and have done, I feel like we do really well in those cities and they do really well here because of that connection, and went on tour with Broken Bow because of that connection. And a lot of it just like working together and with your friends and being like, let's put on for each other. It I don't know. It just snowballs and it's just cool.
I think you're stressing a super important point of just like meeting people and making connections.
Yeah. And
and the only way to do that, like, I feel like a lot of people hyper rely on social media to make those connections. And obviously it does help.
Yeah.
It shrinks the world a little bit, but ultimately like being face to face with the person and making a connection, especially when you're playing music and you get to see them play. Yeah. And you're in the same environment and you're sharing a bill. Like there is a certain bond that you create with that group of people.
Internet is not real. Fuck all that shit. But the best part of touring is all the friends that we've made along the way. I know that sounds like that might be corny, but it's like
rainbow.
It's real as fuck. I love nothing more than like we were in Calgary and we linked up with our friend Jacob and Aaron, and like Aaron we've known for time, but Jacob we met through, he also played in Excite. We'll be in Providence and like we hang out with Evan and Bertles, and it's like, whoa, it's so cool to be in weird places in the world and have people that we love and are really good friends and it's like, oh, this is sick.
Yeah.
And yeah, music does that, and touring does that, and it's tour for that reason, to be happy and stoked to have a million friends.
Yeah.
That's why everyone should tour.
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna make friends on fucking internet, Instagram. Like that shit ain't real.
I feel like that's like is such a refreshing thing to hear, especially now, because so much of music lives purely on the internet, and you have all this crazy shit that you're hearing every day about just like AI bands and all this like super scary stuff, and musicians and artists are kind of like fretting about just being like, oh, are our kind of like livelihoods at risk here? And in a way, yes, because there's a lot of regression that's happening because of that influence, but at the same time, there are a ton of people that feel the exact same way about it that you do, of just being like, I don't care about any of that shit. I just want to play shows and hang out with people. Once again, going to back to that communal aspect of punk and hardcore, of just like, take money and views and plays and all that shit out of it. People are still going to do this because they love getting into a room and singing these songs and the energy that comes with it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think, as long as humans exist, I don't think that want or need is ever going to truly go away, which brings me comfort to just being like, we're cool. You know, like, we may not, be millionaires or have this like crazy success that maybe other people in the music industry have had in the past, but like, we can have community and we can have sustainability. And in my mind, what's better than that? Like, what more could you want than that?
I'm stoked on life.
Right?
And I'm broke as fuck. But I don't know. Like, if someone's getting into music to like, or hardcore to make money, you're a fucking idiot. Like,
much easier avenues.
Yeah, like if that hit home for you just now, go fucking, I don't know, apply to college to be an accountant or something. Like, go make a sensible choice, and you'll make a lot more money. But if you want to have a lot of friends and life experience and joy in your heart, play hardcore. No, fuck AI too. Don't do any AI shit. All right, that shit's gonna ruin us. We're gonna die. Don't even fuck with, like, don't make yourself look like a Pixar character because it's like fun. Fuck all that. Avoid all of it.
Water
Nothing.
Out.
Like, don't engage with any AI. Fuck that shit. Sorry.
No, I think it's a worthwhile thing to talk about because it is ever present, you know, especially in the world of music.
Yeah, you want someone, you're going to complain about someone taking your job. AI is going to take your job. No one's fucking safe. AI is coming for the podcasters next, so watch out. We're going to be cooked real
Please
soon.
don't digitize me. I like doing this. When you play in an independent band, the reasons that you do it out of pure passion and pure love are also a lot of the times the thing that makes it the most successful. And you know, like, the passion that goes behind, you know, being in a band and booking your own shows and doing all, just like straight up grinding it out, does pay off.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, Myoland is such a fascinating band to me because you know, you're on an awesome label that supports you. You're playing lots of shows in front of, you know, a ton of different people, especially breaking into the States, which is like a big mountain to climb for a lot of bands. But you're still able to just play, you know, third on a local bill because of cool band. Like, you know, it's not lost on you, the roots of the band.
I can't lose it.
You know, what are the things of the band that like just keep you stoked on doing it?
I think like our age, like, because we're still pretty young, so I think that definitely helps into us keeping it going. But I think also the fear of the alternative of what else are we gonna do with our lives, in terms of fulfillment or happiness or whatever. Like, you know, any fucking idiot can go get a job and do whatever. But we have every tour or every time we're in a hard time or we're complaining about something, we're always like, what's the alternative? And it's like, oh, yeah, I don't want that. This is way more fun and cooler. So, yeah, I guess that's what really keeps us going. And as well, like, we're very fortunate enough to, when we go on the road, like we do see our friends, and we're just brought with joy every day. And for the most part, we play really rewarding shows, and that reassures a lot. And yeah, we're very fortunate to have exciting opportunities too, that I think also reassures, the work that we're putting in, and we can see it paying off, and we're like, all right, let's keep doing it. So,
Yeah, for the bands out there that are maybe listening to this that are feeling a little stuck, of like not quite sure what the next step is. They feel like they're writing good songs and they're trying to play good shows, but it's just not kind of like working for them, like what could you say to a person that's just like maybe wanting to put it down and be like, I don't know if this is the thing for me?
What you should do is make a Reddit account, go on r/hardcore and talk some shit. Nah. I think I don't know. I tell a lot of bands just like, because I see a lot of like local bands, like they'll just play Toronto a million times, and I don't know. I feel like I could talk on it because I feel like Lice is one of those bands, and then Mile End isn't. Mile End will play every single small town imaginable. Because I would see like Moaning do that like 20 years ago. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And now when I talk to the guys in Cancer Bats and whatnot, they always tell me like, oh yeah, Moaning was like known because they would play all these towns, and people really appreciated that, especially in those towns and whatnot. And what I'm kind of getting at is like, no matter what scale, or like, you don't have to go tour the craziest, biggest place in the world, but like try, dipping your toes in other markets and getting your stuff out there physically and selling yourself physically. Not fuck the internet. Instagram's not real. TikTok's not real. Streaming numbers aren't real. None of it is real.
Just pixels on a screen.
It isn't. It isn't real. Don't Instagram followers. All that shit's stupid as fuck. Get out there and make a connection with people in real life and in many places as possible. And I think that's the best way of getting yourself out there. So if you're feeling stuck, just keep doing more and have good self-actualization. Is that the right word?
I think that's one.
And like and be able to reflect on yourself and see what you're doing and if it's connecting with people or not.
Yeah.
And if it isn't, and you feel satisfied, who gives a fuck? Just satisfy yourself. Do it for yourself. Or, don't do it for anyone else.
Yeah.
Those might contradict each other. So whatever. Do whatever you want until you're satisfied. Yeah.
As long as you're not hurting yourself or anybody, do anything that you want that's gonna make you happy.
Music ain't hard. Start a band.
Yeah.
Rock hard. Get with your homies and make something that you're proud of and say something real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a beautiful place to end this episode.
Yeah. That rocks. Yeah.
Well, Jake, thank you so much for making the travel here and coming to the studio and recording
thank you for having me.
I feel like I'm like halfway down the list of things that I wanted to talk about, and there's a lot of like bricks and mortar stuff about being in a band, especially a touring band, that I'm sure we could talk at length for. So maybe an opportunity for a second episode down the line is definitely there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mile End has a lot of stuff in the future. I don't know when this episode will air, so I don't know what will be relevant then. But if there's anything that you could tease 3 to 6 months from now.
Okay. Check our Instagram. You're gonna find that shit there.
2026
we're going crazy.
may be the year of
probably
Mile End.
probably some new music too. We got lots of demos. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, Jake, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anytime. Yeah. We'll do it again tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, also, I didn't scratch my balls once.
Oh.
So, yeah. Comment down below if you were right.
It's gonna be a full wide crop just to prove that that's the truth. All right.
So sick.
We're going to sign off and he's going to scratch his balls.
Yeah.
And there you have it. Episode 7 with Jake Thompson from Mile End. I can't thank Jake enough for coming onto the show. It was one of the most fun episodes I've ever had the pleasure of recording. I think sometimes people listen to this podcast with the expectation that they're going to get some hacks of how to grow your band or skip a couple rungs on the ladder to get a little farther ahead. And although I think there are a lot of valuable tips that me and my guests talk about on this podcast, I think this episode is exemplary of how much you can get done simply by being passionate about your music and letting the love of doing it drive you. And I think Mile End is a perfect example of a band that kind of is the total package. Their recorded music rocks. Their live show accurately represents the music they put out. They're fun to watch. They're super consistent with the music they put out and the shows that they play. The aesthetic and vibe of the band is consistent throughout their releases. And ultimately, and arguably most importantly, they're great guys to be around. So if you're a larger band that's looking for younger bands to maybe take on tour, even if your music rocks and you're a great live band and your aesthetic is super defined, if you're an asshole, no one's going to want to take you on tour. The music community and the music industry is a relationship-based industry. So if you're looking to grow your band, build relationships. Build relationships with people that you admire. Build relationships with people in your scene and put your best foot forward in everything you do. Once again, thank you to Jake for coming on the show. It was a blast. And I hope you, the listener, enjoyed this episode and took something away from it. If you stuck around to the end of the episode, comment G Money below. Only people who listen to the episode will understand what that means. Follow the show on Instagram, buildyourownband_podcast. Follow my personal producer page on Instagram at Vince Solaveri. Follow me on TikTok, also at Vince Solaveri. And subscribe to the show on YouTube. And hit a like and comment and subscribe and all that good stuff. And most importantly, share the show. It's the best way to grow this show. So if you listen to this show frequently, share a post, share a reel, tell your friends about it. Thank you for all your support and see you on the next one.